Hey guys, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Today I will be reviewing A Quiet Place 2. I just saw it in cinemas and it was phenomenal, and I knew I had to make a video about it while it was still fresh in my mind. I haven't made any video essays before, and I've always wanted to, and I watch way too many of them for my own good. I am studying film at university this year, so when approaching the technical side of the film, I can't help but dissect every portion of it. I won't be focusing too much on that in this video, however, as this is just based off my first impression of the film and my overall opinion. If you haven't seen the film yet, I cannot recommend enough that you do. I'm a big horror fan, and I decided just last minute to go see it with a friend of mine, and I loved it so much. There were actually moments during the screening where I audibly gasped and had to cover my mouth because I was in such shock. It's very intense the whole way through. The film does such a good job at keeping you on your toes, and every now and again there'll be elements of foreshadowing to let you know that something will go wrong. In my opinion, it can be a bit predictable. There were moments where I was basically calling the shots in my head about what was about to happen, and 50% of the time, they came true, but I don't think this takes away from the film at all. The acting is incredible. I mean, especially from Millicent Simmons and Noah Jupe, who play Evelyn's children. They really help to bring the horror flick to life, and they do such a good job at making you feel what they're experiencing as it's happening. And for those of you who haven't seen it yet, there will be minor spoilers in this video, so I'd recommend you click off and go see the movie first before you watch this video. The first thing I'd like to touch on is John Krasinski's sense of world building. It's just one of the things I'd like to recommend about this film. There is so much attention to detail that doesn't go unnoticed, and I'm sure when I rewatch the movie again, there'll be more elements to look out for that I wouldn't have noticed the first time round. There's this one shot that stuck out to me is at an abandoned train station. There's a lot of women's heels lying around the place. This helps to paint the picture that for those who were wearing them, they couldn't run away fast enough and they had to discard their heels. It's a very good use of show not tell, and I feel that John does such a good job at making the audience read between the lines and not really force feed us any explanations about the world. I can think of actually one other example from the first Quiet Place. With the abandoned store that's been pillaged, has a bunch of unopened bags and chips left behind because they would be too loud to open. I mean, fair enough, I wouldn't want to risk my life for a bag of chips too. Furthermore, the film works in many ways because it just follows a simple formula. Like the first film, the characters now face the dangers of the world beyond the sand path, and they must fight for survival. Some of the reasons that this movie does so well is because the characters must work together through the use of sign language and quiet communication. The film has really great flow and creates tensions right when they need to develop, and they give us enough time with each of the main characters and enables the audience basically just to relate to them more. I also think that John Krasinski also provides a realistic point of view on how the world would react to the arrival of these monsters who hunt by sound, which is such a cool idea, by the way. We get to see the monsters a lot more in the movie compared to the first film, but the main focus of the shots is always the protagonist. The monsters are seen in the background of the shots and are always interacting with the surroundings of the setting, yet they don't really take away from the characters as the focal point. I also feel that this film ties everything together into a neat little bow in regards to rounding off the story, and it also expands on the universe in the film a little bit. We find out that there are civilizations on the island who are seemingly unaffected by the events going on in the world, and the monsters are unable to swim, so it provides a sense of hope for the protagonist that there is something better than what they are used to. However, this basically gets turned on its head when Cillian Murphy's character Emmett discovers a boat that has drifted ashore that had a monster on board, which disrupts the peaceful community on the island and basically kills everyone. It essentially is a nice callback to the beginning of the film and further implements the feeling of suspense and knowledge that nowhere is safe. One last thing I'd like to touch on is the character arc for Regan and Marcus, who both kill a monster of their own in acts of protecting someone else. This was probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie, in my opinion, and I couldn't get my jaw off the floor when I saw it. Because when I saw it, it represented them getting justice for their father, who died protecting them from one of the monsters in the first movie. So it's kind of this big old loop that brings it back to the beginning, and it's a very emotionally thrilling movie, and the tension is so on point. It's so hard to look away from the screen at points, even when you know that something bad is about to happen. And one point I would like to make, if I had to nitpick anything about this film, is that characters of colour are killed off right away. Like, right after we're introduced to them, they're just not a part of the plot for very long. There's a friend of Lee's who is a police officer that dies while shooting one of the monsters so the Abbotts can escape. And again, this is shown on the island as Regan and Emmett are fleeing. They're aided by one of the members of the island, only to be killed off once they are no longer relevant to the plot. I'm not really sure what elements this was aiding to the movie, but it was just one thing that I noticed as I was watching. Overall, I would say that this film is like a 9.5 out of 10 in my books. It hits every note perfectly, and it's not that long in retrospect, clocking it at an hour and 40 minutes. This film only includes what it needs and doesn't draw on for a very long time, which works really well in its favour. And to watch both the first Quiet Place and the second would make for a great movie sitting when watching them back to back, so I think I know what I'm doing this weekend. However, thanks for watching my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed what I have to say, and let me know your thoughts in the comments on whether there would be more details in the film that I didn't mention in this video that you picked up on. I actually love to hear your opinions. I love talking about movies. I could go on for about movies for so long. And leave a like if you enjoyed this video. I actually had quite a lot of fun writing it and getting my thoughts out onto a script. Subscribe if you like this kind of content. I plan to make more videos in the future. Also, let me know if you'd like to hear my thoughts on the first Quiet Place as well. I plan on doing a video on the deep dive of the sound techniques in the future. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.